A good combat system lets you win. A peak one makes you earn it. I didn't want the player to be another NPC slayer. I want the dance of technical violence, where the player's rhythm is the only thing keeping them alive. My goal for this prototype that I'm making in 2 months is to blend the crushing difficulty and parry frames of a Souls-like injected with the fast-paced combo system that lets the player turn the table on any enemy. You have to earn every single hit by breaking the enemy's posture first. It's a simple loop. Survive the pressure, earn the opening, and express yourself. Show your feelings to the enemies and touch them again and again and again. A lot of cut off, but you still.
Dog, that clip is like 2-3 years ago, bro. Like, shut up.
If we're gonna touch
Go on and get
our enemies repeatedly, we the protagonist who doesn't know how to slow down. This is Ray. He's a 3D model living in a 2D world. Don't tell him! He hasn't noticed yet. I went for 3D model because I wanted better animations and my hand drawing skills are not quite at ST yet. I give him double core daggers for fast-paced combat. Here the daggers are the key to the expression and touching phase. Once you break a posture bar, he just turns Ray on, you know? He becomes hard on enemies and honestly, it's exactly what the doctor ordered. Don't look at me like that! It's technical violence! I swear! The secret to peak combat is variety. Most of the games have one combo, you press XXX and it's the same animation every single time.
Boring!
For Ray, I wanted every fight to feel like a choreographed dance. I built a 4-stage combo system. But here's the twist. Every stage has 2 different animations. Attack 1, 2, 3 and 4, they all have a version 1 and version 2 animations. Every time you hit that attack button, the game randomly picks between them on the fly. This means your first combo might go V1, V2, V1, V1, but the next one, completely different. It keeps the visuals fresh and the technical violence at an all-time high. You are not just touching enemies, you're giving them a unique experience every single time. But variety in this combo is only half of the battle. If I'm gonna touch an enemy this much, I want to see them feel it. Meet Sub-Zero's distance. Let's take this for cousin. To make hitting him feel peak, I turned him into a biological puppet. If Ray swings up, the enemy's body is literally forced into an upward take damage state. If Ray swings down, the enemy plays the down take damage animation. It doesn't just stand there like a brick. It follows the daggers. It gives the player this insane feeling of dominance. I top it off with a variety of blood shapes so it feels organic and juicy. Adding some sparks. Why are there sparks coming out of a human? Because it looks cool. Don't ask questions. Finally, the directional knockback. Make sure every hit has weight. Adding a red flash shader so he glows like a neon sign when he's touched. And suddenly, the touching phase feels very, very personal. Alright, enough bullying. Sub-Zero's cousin is finally fighting back. Moving on to the telegraph system. I gave him this acrobatic spear combo that's honestly a bit too clean. To make it a fair hybrid, I added this blue warning effect that signals his intent. It's the soul spot of the brain, the visual cue that tells you to get ready for a beatdown. It forces the player to stop mashing and start thinking. Because once that spear starts spinning, the touchy phase gets very, very personal for Ray. Sub-Zero's cousin will wipe Ray's so hard you will forget he was ever a 3D model. That was a bad joke, never mind. But you can't just stand there and take a spear to the face. So I built a blocking system, where holding the block button keeps Ray in a defensive loop. You will still take a cheap damage and lose posture, but if you time that block right before the spear touches your soul, perfect parry. You get total immunity and cause damage to the enemy posture. The parry here is visualized by a flashy shockwave, some sparks on the clash, and a heavy camera shake for a good parry feeling. I realized this late and didn't do this trick, but for a perfect parry feeling, the enemy needs to react better. He needs to stumble with an animation, lose his balance, to give the player the feeling of control and dominance even in defensive mode. But that juicy parry sound already makes us feel like a finished product. Okay, guys, stop the parry sound. Okay, stop. That's too loud, man. You're gonna wake up the neighbor.
Bro, why is that party sound so loud, man? I got kids, bro. You waking them up, bro. Like, that is annoying as hell.
The important piece of the combat loop is the AI's will to live. Moving on to the enemy defense system. I give the spear enemy a posture bar and a block system with animations that actually works. I know, very surprising. But like, the player now can just keep spamming attacks on enemy until he breaks his guard. So if you hit his block a certain amount of times, it triggers a counter attack. Kick to the face, spear throw that will send Zray back to the lobby. It's a stop mashing mechanic. You have to balance your aggression with barriers to break his posture, or he will just whip Zray's again. It's the layer of challenge that makes this hybrid unique. It's not just a fight, it's a dance. Anyway, let's get back to the violence. The final piece of the enemy's offense, a special attack. So first, he backflips away to create distance, and a red warning sign pop up. Those two clues tell the player that there is an upcoming special attack that is unparryable. So here the spear enemy covered a long distance with his thrust attack. The player here got two choices, either jump for his life and avoid it like a or face him with this new mechanic, a counter attack. So if the player rises before he took special damage, he pressed on the counter button, the player performs a counter attack. He stops the enemy special and counter him. It turns a dangerous situation into a massive opening for your own combo. It's technical violence at its finest. Talking about combos and the player kiss attacks. Since I only had 2 months, I made the inputs simple so you can focus on the violence. First, the dash attack. If you don't dodge fourth heavy attack and the enemy flies away, you just press dash plus attack to literally teleport to their face and keep the touching phase alive. But if they are still on the ground, you hold the attack button for a massive uppercut, launching them into the sky where you can follow up with an aerial combo by mashing attack mid-air. And if you ever get stuck against a wall, don't panic, man. Just press jump mid combo to flip over the enemy and switch your direction without losing a single frame of speed. And honestly, it's my favorite attack. I just love how smooth the flip is. I just keep flipping over enemies and over and again and play with directions. It gives me that feeling of dominance that I was aiming for. Finally, there's the special attack. By holding the block, press the attack button. It's just Zray throwing his dagger, doing flashy attack with the other one. It's honestly useless for the strategy, but it looks so cool and hits so hard that I had to keep it in. I just realized I skipped the most important part, how Zray actually stays on target. I programmed a lock-on system that triggers automatically. It forces Zray to always face the enemy, which is why the jump attacks and side switches feel so smooth. The game always knows where the threat is. But let's talk about the grand final. Finishers. When that spearman has 0 health left, he enters a death row state. He's done, he's cooked, he's ready for the band over. You hit that attack button and Zray performs a deadly finisher that ends the fight with maximum style. It makes the player feel like a true conqueror. 60 days of dev time just for that one perfect and final strike. The dance is finished for now. I want you just to know that in these 2 months, I did not just make one enemy and Justice combat. I made a whole level, environment, player movement, more finished enemies, sounds, UI. Like, just go check the game, is now on itch, link in the description. Just expect bugs, because it's a freaking prototype. Also, if this video gets some love, I'm diving back into adding secondary weapons, imagine switching daggers for heavy axe mid combo or use guns for range attacks. I also want the levels to matter, where you can use the environment to crush enemies or escape corners. And if the hype is real, a crazy boss fight is definitely on the menu. Drop a comment with what you want to see next. Until then, stay bzzz.